Hi, it's Gary Robinson here from Kaizen Outdoor Fitness. This training is all about selling memberships to your fitness bootcamp or your outdoor fitness group. It's going to help you if you currently don't like the idea of selling, or if you maybe don't know how to sell. And it's also going to be for you if you already have some idea of how to sell, but you're not doing it very effectively, or maybe you're doing it inconsistently. To give you an idea of how effective this is going to be, I used to invite people down to my outdoor training group for a free trial session, and I'd spend 10 minutes before and after the session talking to them about, what the problems were and how to get them joined. So I had a fair idea how to sell, but the results were very inconsistent. Because I didn't have a formal documented system that I went through for every single client, the results would vary, and the average would be I'd convert about 2 out of every 5 people who came down into a paying member. So I went back, I implemented my systems that I'd used previously in my career, I adapted them for the fitness industry, and pretty much overnight I managed to turn that 2 out of 5 into 4 out of 5. So I doubled the amount of people who would join. And this is pretty significant if you think about it, because that meant that before I put this in, every 10 trial sessions I would get 4 new clients, something like that. Now I only had to do 5 free trial sessions to get 4 clients. So it saved the amount of time that I had to spend with all these people, and it actually was a little bit fairer on them because the people were coming down who weren't the right fit and they weren't happy. It also saved me money because converting twice as well meant I had to get half as many leads. And you'll know that marketing is probably the most expensive overhead you're going to have in any fitness business. It's much harder to attract interested people into your business than it is to sell them if you do it right. So this is going to be for you. I think you'll get a lot out of it. There's a lot of information in here, but it's going to be worth spending an hour or so taking it on board and doing the exercises, because at the end of the day, what we want to do is save ourselves time, energy, and money. So let's move on. What is it? A sales system. It's a system to convert the leads that you get into paying members. That's it. Very simple. So let's talk about what is not selling. And a lot of people have misconceptions about what selling is and what it isn't, and it has come with a bit of stigma attached to it. And the reason I think people say they hate selling is because they've had bad sales experiences themselves as clients or as customers. So what is it not? It's not about having charisma or charm or using persuasion or even manipulation to get people to give you money for something they don't want. It's not about clever closing techniques. Again, that assumes that you're trying to get somebody to do something that they don't want to do. And it's definitely not about being pushy or slimy or sleazy in any sort of way whatsoever. And this is what, puts people off the idea of selling. And it's what makes personal trainers say, I hate selling. So let's talk about what it is. What is selling? Well, it's very simple. It's really just helping someone go from their current situation to a better alternative. We're in this industry to help people, and we've got to make sure that that's what we do. So if someone's coming to you looking for a solution because you have the answer, we've got to make sure that we let them come away from the sales meeting with the solution. And the way to do that is to understand the problem that they come to you with. So here's something I learned early on about selling websites back in the day. When you can describe someone's pain or their problem better than they can to themselves, you automatically become the solution. So stop thinking about selling in terms of what you've got for the people who are coming to you, and just understand what their problem is. Right? If you do your marketing right, you're going to get people who have got specific problems and specific pain, and as trainers, we've got lots of solutions to lots of different problems we can offer them. But what most people don't do very well is take the time to understand the clients and what the solution is. So let's talk about the system that we're going to go through to help you do this. There's 5 steps to it, and the first thing we're going to do is break it down into who you're selling to. It's really important, and we talked about this in the marketing trainings we have in Kaizen Outdoor Fitness membership. It's really important to identify who you're selling to. What sort of problems can you solve as a personal trainer? And what sort of solutions can you offer? The next thing is, once you've identified who you want to sell to, you've got to determine whether or not the people who are coming in to your world via your marketing are qualified to actually even be a client of yours. And this is where a lot of trainers get tripped up. They'll just go, well, I'll train anybody, anybody who's interested, I can help them all. And actually that's going to hold you back, and you'll see why when we get into that bit in a second. So we really have to take the time to make sure that they're qualified first. And then once we've done that, we're going to get them into what I call a consultation. It sounds a little bit corporate, but basically this means to you, it's either going to be a phone call, you're going to invite them down for a free trial session like what I used to do, or a complimentary trial session, let's call it. Or you're just going to meet them for a coffee or something like that. And that's going to be split into 2 halves. The whole thing is going to be about a 20-minute meeting. And we're going to split. The first half is going to be about fact finding. So you actually want to listen to the problem, find out why they've come to you in the first place. And then you're going to give them a recommendation. And hopefully that recommendation is going to be to join your fitness group. But it may not be. It might be to join somebody else's fitness group. Or it might be a referral to a physiotherapist because they're injured. But whatever that is, you're going to spend that meeting in 2 halves. And after that, if you do this right, you shouldn't get anybody objecting to your recommendation. But, the first few times you go through this, you're going to miss bits out. It might not be perfect, or you might misunderstand them at some point. So we're going to have a section on how to handle the objections that might get thrown up by people who haven't quite understood what you've said or are uncertain. And then finally, the last thing we need to do, which is something that is definitely overlooked and not enough people do this, is follow up. And the whole point of that is, once somebody's just decided to join your fitness bootcamp or outdoor training group, psychologically they're at a point in time where they're the most involved, they're the most engaged, and it's really important to make them feel good about that decision, and if you do it right, they'll stick with you for a long time, and they're probably more likely to bring a friend down. So it's the best time to ask for a referral. So I'm going to talk about some strategies on how you can follow up with people to do that. So let's move on to the next section, which is going to be who you're selling to.